there. She doesn't really like it when it's this quiet, so I'm just hoping everybody's ready. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hi there, and thank you for coming to this evening, and I feel really double plus bad that Cotton Campbell is stuck in Kansas, I believe, and wasn't able to make it because I would love to have had her here for a feature, but that means yippee skippy for everyone. It gets to be 10-minute mini feature night for anybody, so everybody can have a 10-minute set, and oh, he's sliding the guitars underneath, that's cool, and everybody's like, I'm coming early for the piece afterward, awesome, and maybe you could play music early, we have no idea. Right now we're doing 10-minute rounds for who is here so far because everybody strolls by late. And I think, I have no idea what John is doing. Thank you very much, John. But I thought I would read some of the pieces that I'm going to be reading since I've been writing periodic table poems and I only introduced them as features. I have pieces I was going to do this Saturday at the Art Colony, which is, all right, Art Colony, thanks, Vito. I'm one of many features that are reading there, and that's going to be no microphone, no anything, so I'm just going to go up there and read stuff. And I was also going to do one, because it's a short set, that I was going to be reading for the night for Joe Rory, which is then following Thursday on the 18th at, yeah, Joe Rory! Yeah! At the Loft at Fizbar on the 18th, but just to make it fit into 18 minutes. The music you're going to hear in the background is music from the Ha Man of South Africa because he has really cool music, so that's why I put that in the background. And I'm hoping John will come up for this first one, so I'm going to turn on the music, and he's like, what? I got to do something? What? So, and well, I'll just turn it on, and you just come over and join me because I hurt you. And everything, actually, it just probably started. Oh, already. The first piece is called, you just play it once it starts up, Touching Cobalt. We toasted our anniversary with cobalt blue champagne glasses after we looked over the cobalt and tungsten wedding bands. It seems fitting since I'm so attracted to you and your cobalt blue eyes, and that we're both drawn to cobalt, the most magnetic elements. I heard a physicist explain that two solid objects, when they're pressed together, they never actually touch. Now, I can't really imagine it, but maybe because electrons repel, all objects remain one molecule apart. That must be why, when we embrace, I want to hold you tighter and tighter. Because I want to defy the laws of gravity, and I feel that contact with you as long as humanly possible, as long as I possibly can. Because right now, I don't care about electrons keeping us one molecule apart, because when it comes to cobalt, it's 27 protons and 32 neutrons, all wound tightly together with a strong nuclear force. Its nuclear binding energy is so strong that it only breaks apart when it's broken down into its isotopes. It won't break apart in its pure form. Kind of like us, I suppose, how we seem to be so bound by physics. Physicists say that solid objects can never actually touch, and I'm sorry, but when it comes to us, that just can't be true, because I want to experience you with all of my senses. I want our molecules to intermingle. I want us to actually touch. How to get elements incorporated into different pieces. That was Touching Cobalt. You know, as you start going through more and more, you find different ways to incorporate with the elements, right? This one is, and I didn't even tell you that cobalt is number 27 in the periodic table, by the way. But this next one is number 83 in the periodic table. This is bismuth. I heard NASA scientists say that Albert Einstein dismissed some of his theories, that Einstein didn't like some of his theories because he thought they weren't beautiful. And I thought, What is beauty? Is it how the silver pink hue of bismuth tarnishes into an iridescent oxide, refracting colors from a soothing pink to a bright yellow to a deep blue? Einstein believed the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all art and science. And scientifically, no other metal is more naturally diamagnetic than bismuth. I know, bismuth is diamagnetic. It's not the magnetism of bismuth that causes the aurora borealis and the Earth's magnetic field. But trust me, from what I've seen, no other element can naturally produce such an awe-inspiring, brightly rainbow-colored stair-step pyramid. So we ask, what is beauty? They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it makes me wonder. I'm tired of saying happy ones, so I'm going to go to something a bit more depressing sounding. This is number 48 in the periodic table. This is cadmium. The battered woman enters the all-night gas station grocery store. The attendant sees the man waiting in the car. He looks tense and angry. The attendant looks at the woman. Marlboros, is all she said. The attendant glances at the car and looks at the rows of cigarettes over the counter. The woman says, it's for my husband. The attendant asks, which kind? The woman absent-mindedly says, red. The attendant reaches for the package. The attendant thinks that even though there is more of the poisonous cadmium in the food we eat, the cadmium is easily absorbed when we breathe it in through these smokes. Studies have even found links between cadmium and cancer, the attendant thinks. So the attendant looks at the woman, hands her the cancer sticks, and thinks, you've probably already paid for this. Even though cadmium is used for pigments or nickel-cadmium batteries, smokers get 4 to 5 times more calcium in their blood and 2 to 3 times more calcium in their kidneys. The woman closes her purse. The attendant closes the register. Give it time, was all the attendant thought as the woman left. Thank you. And I've got another one for you. This is the second iron poem I've done. This is Iron in My Eyes. For all those who want to know, number 26 in the periodic table, Fe, Iron in My Eyes. You think I was joking. You think I wanted this to happen. But this is what it boils down to. I can no longer respond. After all these things I've been through, I think you'd understand. Come to me. I dare you. Open my eyelid. Shine a light right into my eye. See if I respond. The doctors even said that they heard someone say I looked so pretty in this hospital bed here, wearing nice eyeshadow. Now, I know I'm a dark girl, but they had to be informed that that wasn't eyeshadow and that I had 2 black eyes. You see, that's how the doctors know I have a brain injury. When the blood seeps out from around my brain, it collects only in my eyelids. Iron gives color to blood, and coming through from under my skin, my blood-filled, iron-rich eyelids must have been a pleasant mauve hue. You think I've got an iron will, and I do. But at moments like these, I wonder if I have cried iron. leaving it in my eyelids for you to see. They say your eyes are windows to your soul, and mine have been darkened. Is it by you? Is it by the world? Is it by the hand I was dealt? Is it just fate? All I know is that my eyes have been darkened, even if it is by iron. Thanks. I don't know how do I try to like wave things from up to down to up, so I'm going to go back and forth. This is manganese, number 25, Mn. Different depth one, I guess. What's plants? I wanted plants around. She always had plants around. Everything thrived with her. Ever since she died, my home has become a jungle. Let me have control over this. Let me add water nearly daily to the plant I bought when I visited her, or to the tree that she gave me years ago. Add plant food to the water because I don't want anything to die. Trim the dried leaves because they would even remind me that even nature misses her. Keep the plants near windows. They need their light. The manganese needs it for their chlorophyll production. Actually, their manganese assimilates the carbon dioxide into photosynthesis. So breathe in our carbon dioxide and give me some more of my precious oxygen so we can realize how dependent we really are on each other. Actually, I should stock up on manganese plant supplements. I'll make sure you get everything you need. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. Thanks. I know I caught you with that one. This last one. I'm going to do this one without music. Just for the heck of it. This last one, short one, is cesium. Haha. And you're like, what on earth is cesium? Number 55, and it'll seem more like me. This is cesium. Is this the best of times? Is this the worst of times? Or is this just one of those times? Only humans understand time. Where did all the time go? Do we even know? Time slips away as we look for ways to keep time every day, right down to the nanosecond. Because without my cesium, I wouldn't be so obsessed with being on time for absolutely everything. Without cesium clocks, everyone would be forced to be their clueless selves when it comes to their time in this global village. And we can thank cesium-133 for producing identical radiation at exactly the same frequency, which makes cesium perfect for the cesium atomic clock that monitors time globally in such perfect detail. Perfect for my obsession with time. But I have to remember that with cesium or without, time is only a human construct. But you know, I'll need to check my watch to keep reminding myself of this at times like these. Thank you. And you got a taste of elements of poetry, and I try to do other stories with them as well. But now I think I'm going to call, because I don't have my list, so I think I'm going to call the man that talked to John for too long to delay the evening. I'm really looking forward to hearing from poetry from Mr. Patrick Hurley. Are you ready, my love? Give it up for Patrick. Come on!
I have no sense of time. I do not have cesium in my head.
There's a fog machine over there. That's I saw fog starting to come out. I saw
Fog was
smoke.
coming out of it?
Yeah, I thought there was smoke coming through.
So you have to get a look.
So I'll read a few from my upcoming 9th book, the best and worst of both worlds. Freshly fire. He holds his cigarette, delicate as rose petal, between thumb and middle finger. Index gently touches the end. Ring finger feels the heat of the ember. It's the smoke that draws his attention. Ghost swirls from his lips, floating free to the universe. His hands limp, relaxed. His whole relaxed. The cost is known. Another day off the end. Another round in the chamber, spinning the cylinder, another day less. It's cathartic, passes the time. And what is life without enjoyment? This slow decay as the mind and body begins to fold, as the weight of experience begins to push down, he begins to melt into the floor, spread out within the universe, like Billy Pilgrim, become unstuck from time. Moments certainly felt like it. Moments certainly felt like it. And there was a certain aroma, the scent of a freshly fired round in the chamber.
Oh.
Within the pages, I unfold before you, yet you refuse to turn the pages. My mystery lies within. It is nothing, nothing but a life, another cell, like all others, like no other, resting in mud, waiting so patiently for discovery, and you are so patient.
Oh, cool. Cool. I might have to go one of you more.
An easy gesture. It's small, so small. A smile, a hello, a wave, a connection between you and them. Do they smile in return? Does it matter? Do they walk away with a sense of comfort? So easy a gesture could mean so much.
Nice. Very cool.
For Amelie. Her eyes so big and bright, open to the world, gaze up to receive comfort. Her hands so small, little fingers and toes held gently in big hands, kissed so softly. Giggles are the reward. Smelly, dirty diapers are nothing but a privilege. To clean soft skin, an opportunity to sing ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, in calm, low tones. She came into this world in my hands, hearing my voice, feeling my touch. Crying at night, I gave the comfort of a father's loving arms. They are here now, my darling, open to your aging, never turning away. I will carry you again through tomorrow. Bulbs and bees. You are the bulb of spring, the crocus in sleep, and I, the bee in the tree, longing for your nectar. Do you rest now in fear of the sun, the warmth of its radiance, or push forward, breaking the crust, then fall silent to the morning, and open, brilliant with innovation? It is there, within the carpels and stamens, I long to bury my head.
Cool.
Ennui. When is it time for tears? As hope shatters like fragile glass on a maple floor, happiness held in brief moments of compassionate embrace. Are tears permitted then, if they are for joy? Or must the levee be built higher, holding back the inevitable flood? Some minor release maybe, gentle and slow as a delicate February snow, covering the filth below with the illusion of white, clean newness. But this too melts, revealing the honest ground, worn by time, begging for rebirth, then finding it in the spring crocus. Origami. A gentle kiss placed so delicately on your breast. Time lags, then races, as your hand parts hair. Ah, fresh air filling lungs, as diaphragm distends stomach. We breathe each other in and in again. Origami art, folding limbs into beauty.
I like these. Oh, you want to know?
Can't see the
Yeah, I was going to say, how much time would you, we like sitting here and just listening to them all. You've got 3 minutes?
Okay. So, all right, so sanctuary. They called me God, made offerings and worshipped me. I laughed in their faces, said they were naive. They said, surely you must be a god to laugh at us in such a way. They called me sage, Buddha returned, and followed me to hear me speak. But all I said was gibberish. This is prophetic, they cried. The true meaning of life rests in your words. They called me pious and righteous, bowed before me on rugs, saying, truly Allah guides me, while I drank and smoked, entertaining their youth, wiping my feet on their rugs as if welcome mats. He comes to bless my sajada, they proclaimed, while whipping themselves. They called me omnipotent. I simply answered their questions with whatever came to my head. Truth or relevance played no part in my response. But that I responded was enough to be a genius in their eyes, so hungry for food. As I awoke, my head in a pool of blood, they proclaimed, he has risen from the dead. Surely you are divine. I said, dead? No. Passed out drunk? Yes. He has taken a spirit quest. We must follow, they said. Do as you like. Just remember the ground is hard, I said. The day came when they went away, saying, he is a false god, tricking us into subservience. He laughed in our faces, spoke in gibberish, smoked and drank, and bedded our women, filled our heads with lies. Then off they went to follow another. At last, true sanctuary, I said.
That's awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, give it up one more time for Dr. Rose. We were all just waiting. We were waiting to see them. That was really good. That was awesome. Thank you. And I like that last one. That's a fun one to end it on, I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to roll from one to the next because more and more people are going to show up and we're not going to have time for time-night feature. So please, a man named Poetry is going to come up here. He's got a feature, I believe, in September. So give it up, my love. No, come on up here. It's that good. Woo!
How everybody doing?
Real good.
Right.
Woo!
I saw this lady standing on the block. With tears eyes, she cried inside. She said her love had just been lost. And the tears drops a different pain. She drank Tennessee with a cold smile, hoping things could get better. And I asked her, how she sit there on that bus stop and asking why that she looked downfall with depression and different calls of action. I asked why. She said she was stuck with this nice guy that said he loved her. And she sits with the pain. A one-night stand. Got her cups like stiff aside with a pregnant seed inside her. And she asks why with the downfall. She cries. So ain't no love in the city of Chicago. That's my first piece, y'all.
Oh, wow.
boy screams out, echoes, bigger than Chicago, bigger than life is seeds. He stands on the block and asking why, with white tees that stand on the block and flipping packs. Ain't even think about the things that would be action. While the blue lights surrounded like a Christmas night on Christmas night, Christmas fight, and while uncle's out there selling bootlegs. He screams out, I can't go do this no more. No more tears and cries, and where the mama's at? And where my dad at? And I don't know why. He sits there, wondering while his pants is hanging down, and the things of the Timberlands, the red his hat, and his hat is cocked low with sunglasses, so dark outside. He screams out, I need help. But he locks up in the cell, different cage, and now he finds the word Bible and different gods arise. But they suicide him and keeps him and keep them different words that got him crying out. He hollers out there, so I need mama and dad now. No cries out. A bus rides by. The pain's inside. His stomach is full with empties inside. He looking for food, but no mama and dad around. Cause of reaction, affection, locked down the cell. That's the second piece.
Wow.
Words that they told him he ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna get bigger than what you are. You ain't gonna make it. Mama and dad told him he ain't gonna be nothing. So he sits there writing books and writing down. Say he need to God in his life, so he go to church so he could write it down. Tears, eyes cried, but not enough inside. See, the block that he left that alone so he could be better inside. So he asked why, and they say you ain't gonna make it. They say you ain't gonna make it. So he write down his knowledge and hoping things get outside him. Hoping things could get better than what it is outside. My sister is gone away with an HIV virus that he caught from the next guy. And I sit there with the tears, eyes, and cried. And they said, you can't make it because your family been through the same thing. But if I could change subsidies to break changes on my lifetime, and things could be broken, then I could ask why. Why I stand out there with a black tee on and the black sunglasses, and I wonder why my mom said I can't make it now. Because I'm doing bigger things than I never did before. Got into school education, GED, knowledge, and people, they acknowledge him now. That's my last piece.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
I'm walking up here with a drum, which I'm not going to use, but I just thought I'd have it and make noise. I wanted to share with you really, really quickly because CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazine, the two magazines run from Scars Publications, are now bi-monthly, and the April issues just came out. And I'm just showing you the covers because this is a cover from Eric Bonholzer of Paris, which looks really, really, really cool, I think. There's a lot of cool stuff in it, and even though I took this shot, I really like this close-up of this cow. And it's just about, and I've got things bookmarked that I can read, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to tease you and torment you with like, they're here, but you can't hear from them. And I guess I'm going to bang on this because my next man up is Joffrey Stewart. Joffrey, get on up here, let's go.
That's not appropriate. I need to talk louder. Don't get clap with the thing. That's it, clap louder. I'm just trying to bang a drum for you. For you. I'm going to get out of the way.
I'll do 6. First, Weeds is going to honor Poetry Month on the 22nd and honor David Hernandez on the 29th.
Oh.
My first 2 I wrote in Cleveland at a war resistance meeting where the opening session became a poetry workshop led by a teacher from a Jesuit university. And he was supposed to collect all these and give them back to us, but that didn't happen. The title is, As Major Hassan Reminds War Tax Resistors for the World They Want to See. At 18, I was supposed to work. For 2 weeks, I founded in a war plant, Campbell's Soup, doing my best to move D rations on or off a conveyor belt, with hands not tough enough for hard work. At this time, for C&D rations, which were making war. At the same time, I was paying for war in the first year of withholding tax. It was not so much the chocolate as the taxes which destroyed all my ambition to fit in. And this was the other one he got, titled, How Do We Work to Build a World Not as Contentious as Jerusalem? I felt imposed upon taking orders in the army when already I was against the war. Then a bishop, by hearsay, taught me how not to take orders under command. Arrested whilst walking while black, or for not getting out of a racist barber chair, I went limp. Cops stepped on my penis, pushed my face down toilet bowls, beat me with a rubber hose. Refusing water one time, I came out looking like a concentration camp survivor. But I never had any chance to reconcile with those cops. And this one I remember reading at the Old Town Ale House twice a year before the All-Star game and before the big football game the week before. They have a artist night, and poetry may or may not be a part of it. This time it was, and it has this title, Golden Ear armed 13 atomic bombs for the 10th of Ramadan War. At Epiphany, or thereabouts, Tsutomu Yamaguchi dies, having taken the last train from Hiroshima to get bombed again in Nagasaki, leaving a world which has not been found by wise men, as nuclear stockpiles have much proliferated since he got a second chance in a city some naively thought would not be devastated because there were Christians there. Were there, as 3 Catholic orders were wiped out. Of course, by Christians of any denomination, addicted to just war theories especially. Of course, Tsutomu Yamaguchi could not age to 93 without some luck, with the sparkle of Einstein's brain. The same luck we've all had, with Cubans more than ready to take us on their trip, some wanting to get back to the good old days where 25 of anybody were shot up for Christmas. What did they do for Epiphany? And the lunatic risk we all took when the moon showed up on a radar screen that did not know the dove of peace from a flight of geese and is linked to hair traders for Armageddon, a place prepared in Israel, and too much ignored by direct disarmament activists, as though giving a wink and a nod to the end time. And, well, this is more current. The title is in the interrogative, A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing? It seems that Rothschild pulled it out. The Western Hemisphere gets a Pope, first ever, as Italy brings another Italian to the Vatican, which gets a Jesuit, appropriate to the Rothschilds since it was organized by Jewish moneylenders. A Jesuit, first ever since Innocent XIV kicked them out for killing popes. A Jesuit, hostile to liberation theology. A Jesuit, like Monty and many, going to the top in the European Union being totalitarianized under the cover of technique that slaughters pigs, redlined like any neighborhood I've lived in. A Jesuit, not too uncomfortable with the Argentine dictatorship and not assassinated like Romero. A Jesuit in the cloth of St. Francis. Will alleged black massing go unimpeded in the Holy See? A Jesuit. What does his yarmulke mean for Palestinians? A Jesuit, though it hardly matters, sitting where falls the shadow of Roberto Calvi, hanging from London Bridge.
Woo.
This is one I read the last time here. It contained a prediction, and so I'm reading it again so we can assess the poem for its predictive value, or how, whether it worked, or how. The title is Attack on the Media, drafted on back of a thank you note from Mary Kay in 2 parts. 1. When Southwest Indians are suffering from drought, they construct exquisite, meticulous sand paintings. And sure enough, it rains, destroying the art. Will that perverse logic upset forecast in part 2? In the springtime, come see. 2. Rolling away the stone for justice is themed for a Good Friday bad in Gaza, Syria, worsening in Persia, and despite the historical Jesus walking into Quranic scripture, bringing no protection for Christians where Boko Haram attacks moderation with high explosive sectarianism. Rolling stoners walk streamlined stations of the cross as the post office enables Rosa Parks to put her stamp on the new Jim Crow, from chattel slavery to old Jim Crow to the new Jim Crow, electing Obama CIA to terrorize blacks in Libya, drone Africa, and serve the drugging wars that profile Stateville 80% black. Rolling away the stone does less to allow an ex-non-offender escape into a myth of spring than to show us Sisyphus exercising the futility of history, aided and abetted by the recurring hostility of media aiming TV cameras to roll receptors away from downtown stations crossed at the scenes of crimes of laws and orders. And I was there, and there were no network cameras there. I went home and looked at Channel 7, and as in other years, they showed the pageantry in Pilsen. So the poem predicted correctly, unfortunately.
Wow.
And this piece works for the last poem here too. And you can see it, mugshot. 7 053 numbers the NAACP seamstress who held her seat and got Martin Luther King standing on a balcony in Memphis, not realizing he had had his last supper, and where McCullough and Young, Andrew, pointed the wrong way, away from the bushes, where from a gunshot came, the way the CIA wanted it, incidentally sending James Earl Ray, a racist, hopelessly innocent, all the way to Portugal. Hey, hey, LBJ! He overcame truth in the Gulf of Tonkin, and truth evaded him again when it died in a pantry, leaving Sirhan accidentally doing life, surviving the unaccidental plunge of JFK Jr. Meanwhile, Rosa Parks found a seat in John Conyers' office. Long after, she frowned disappointedly at me, getting in line to give her a leaflet instead of taking her autograph.
Awesome. Thank you. And he even bothered to share, which I put into my little handy calendar here, my After the Apocalypse Date book, which is something that Scarce Publications releases, which has a poem on one page and a week of the year on the other. And I'm like, let me scribble down that Friday the 26th has Weeds for honoring Poetry Month, and Monday the 29th for honoring Mr. David Hernandez. But I need to know the time, so I'm going to find out, and I wrote it down. So thank you for that information. And maybe I'll share some poems from other people on this a little bit later on. But I believe there is a man that will be coming up that is probably going to do more from memory, because I just love it when people actually remember their stuff. Because I know some of my stuff, but you know, what the, you know, I could just bring more stuff and just read it from a page and stare at that instead. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jerry. Jerry Raz, get out here,
Thank you.
True diversity doesn't happen until two people with white beards are able to perform one after the other.
I am going to shout and be recorded.
Because I do recommend poetry. That should be
I have been thinking very loudly within my own head. This one's called The Face on the Barroom Wall. I met my person in the mirror in a Fifth Street bar last night. He used to sit across from me, now I'm a right. He spoke, but over my voice I just couldn't catch his name. He mimicked all of my questions, and of course, I did the same. I bought a drink for each of us, and the barmaids botched the change. When I tried to pay one what I owed, she told me I was strange. My person in the mirror just laughed, reflecting mirthfulness. We bickered, and we shouted some, and then we raised our fists. Twin bouncers crept behind us and gave us each a smack. One tossed me out the front door.
You can fill in the last line.
Well, it's not the best.
Imagine, if you would, at the most expensive restaurant that you have ever been to, that in the area where the waiters and the cooks and the other servers, those people there have a redwood plaque hanging on the wall. It doesn't talk about you, but it talks about how beautiful their business is. And I'm only whispering because I have a microphone. It is called the Waiter's Creed.
The Waiter's Creed. Tablecloths of spotless white. Crystal set to catch the light. Silverware with corporate crests. Open doors to greet our guests. Our carpets are cleaner than your shoes. We seat you down in 4s and 2s. We fill you up and make you pay. And that is how we earn our way. Each night, when all the food's been served, the dishes washed, the tips deserved, we know that all we'd ever want is to own this fucking restaurant.
I was allowed 10 minutes.
Yes, you were.
And I would like to recite a poem that my brother wrote, if I may.
Yay!
This is called Metaphysics, and it was written by Gregory Reynolds, who is still alive, and I wish he was here. But actually I'm getting videotaped or whatever. Never mind, he'll find out how well it works. Metaphysics.
Metaphysics by Gregory Reynolds. An angel and an animal got dressed up in your clothes. And now the angel has to go wherever the animal goes. An angel and an animal can agree on what to do. They can't decide between themselves.
So I leave it up to you.
The pair can't live in harmony unless you remember two things. Please don't tease the animals. And never touch the angel's wing. Jerry Reynolds, pleasure to serve you tonight.
Thank you. I couldn't even clap because we're saying hands. Thank you.
You know, I wanted to write a Twitter-length poem at the end. After hearing, I think I've heard that the first time, and I just said, an angel and an animal, put on your clothes. And now you can't tell the difference. But oh, well, no, because people would think sometimes there's somebody being really nice or being... I'm looking at a schedule here, and I feel really bad, as I had said at the beginning of the evening, that our feature could not make it for Cotton Campbell. But I want to give something about upcoming features, including next week we've got Andrea Shoup, and she's actually collecting poems from other places. I believe Joffrey knows, I know her. She has been collecting Chicago poems for CC&D magazine, the one that I run, and I'm thrilled that she's going to be a part of it. And 2 weeks after Robin Shoup on the, I said Robin Shoup because Robin Franz coming up. Andrea Shoup on April 24th is May 8th. Charlie Newman. I happen to get some Charlie Newman here on May 8th, and I've got people that are lined up, including May 22nd, Kathleen Shanaway Arnold. So there are a ton of cool people. So if you wanted to know anything about our upcoming schedule, you can always go online, www.chaoticarts.org/thecafe. But the one thing I was looking at on the schedule, I don't think I have anything from the man that is actually hosting a huge poetry event at the Art Colony this weekend, which makes me cry. It makes me sad. So please, he can tell you all about it when he's here for a few minutes. Give it up for Victorio, Vito, Carly. Come on, Vito!
I've been hosting a show at the Art Colony every second Saturday. And I'm kind of going to do a big one from 5 to 8 this Saturday with an open mic, but usually there is an open mic. So it's from 5 to 8. The address is 2630 West Fletcher. I think I gave a lot of you flyers. If you want one, I have some more. And this is a poem.
2536?
Hmm?
2536?
2630.
Sorry. Okay, thank you.
2600 West Fletcher.
It's pretty close to Belmont and Western. But this is a poem I wrote with interchangeable parts. I originally put them all in a box. This is Name Your Poison. The Cocker Spaniel tax collector, massage therapist, Tea Party activist, mortician, Bonnaboo expert, skipped, drove, took a cab, ran, biked to the ballet, cemetery, Poetry Foundation, Occupy Chicago and LaSalle, Maggie's Farm, the Lee Grover Memorial. On the way back, he met the love of his life, got married, read the Iliad, shit his pants, blew his mind out in the car, saw the Rocket Platoon's reunion. Then he had dinner, went to sleep, watched the sunset in a blindfold, scratched the fleas, became worm food. The next morning he woke up in a stranger's bed, submitted his poem to literary magazine, fell off a bridge, bit at the cage bars, got a full-time teaching job. Haha. Thanks. I saw the Evil Dead movie. I wrote a poem during the movie. It was a violent film poem. And so you're supposed to yell out after every line, in the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
In the midst of steroid-filled rage?
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
Steroid-filled, okay.
Let's try it.
In the midst of a steroid-filled rage. Why does nobody...
Fuel rage.
It's steroid
Fuel. In the midst of a
steroid-fueled rage. All right, sorry.
I quit my job at the A&P when the manager bears the girl in a two-piece.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I play Straight Outta Compton really loud with the windows rolled down.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I survived playing chicken like the James Dean character Rebel Without a Cause.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I spent the night with a fine-looking woman before I found out she was engaged.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
That rhymes.
I stole money from the mob, then skipped town with a hooker played by Patricia Arquette.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I kicked the shit out of a biker outside of a bar.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I drove off fast, and then his 10 friends found out what I had done.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I drove an hour to see the new Evil Dead, although it was playing on my block.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I kept stepping out to write this poem at the beginning of the film.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
On the way back home, I stopped to buy some milk for my aging mom.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
I had picked up a Mother's Day card while I was there.
In the midst of a steroid-fueled rage.
So it kind of mellows out in the poem. Thank you.
It got mellow in the steroid-fueled rage.
Yeah. So Joe Rorty's coming back soon, and he actually kind of inspired a poem in my book, A Passion for Apathy. So, just one second. This is I kind of heard his poem in his voice when I wrote it. This is Rant, beginning and a half for Joe Rorty. Within every soft thing, there is hardness. Within every hard thing, there is softness. Every gorgeous field contains a seed of depravity, and every beautiful meadow contains a severed ear. Hear the flies, buzzing all around. All creation is destruction, all destruction is creation. Blah, 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 blah. Etc., etc. And Excelsius Deo. The attendant Lord Polonius spoke words of great wisdom. Prince Hamlet spoke words of great folly. He had no anti-disposition. There is no anti-dispensation. The less you comprehend, the more we know. When you say things, say them slant. That's what Danny Nicholson said. Does that ring a bell of Amherst? There's no great prophet, just a Mad Hatter. As we force the work, you do the other half. Thanks. Do one last one. Just one second. I wrote this for a librarian. I actually have nothing against librarians, but it's a kind of conspiracy theory program, a poem. Everyone thinks that librarians are ever so prim, shy, meek, and harmless, but they have a sinister, covert agenda. Librarians have ties to the Hellfire Club, Heaven's Gate, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and the Knights of the Golden Dawn. Librarians in possession of the Ark of the Covenant, the Spirit of Destiny, and the Holy Grail. Librarians believe that the U.S. barcode is too rough, the U.S. tax code is too tough on corporations. Excuse me. Librarians conducted mind control experiments on Jim Jones. Librarians canceled Twin Peaks and Star Trek. Librarians took the poetry room out of the Harold Washington Library. Librarians wrote the Horowitz Doctrine and finally got implemented under W. Librarians are the high priest in a dying religion. Librarians are all about books with a couple pages missing. Thank you.
Oh, is it just too bright? What? Give it up one more time for Vito, the door is rolling, come on!
And we're all just too into things. And so, I want to be double plus sure. Did everyone read? Is there anybody that want to come up for the open mic? Because Vito is right. These lights go right into your face, but so it's kind of hard to see. Sorry.
What happened was I thought context. I could see really well except small print.
Oh. Well, then I won't get too stupid. Hey, is there anybody else that want to read? I want to make sure I got everybody covered. Yes. Nobody's screaming like an idiot. So what I'm going to do is actually, because I praised my little After the Apocalypse Date book, I was going to read poems from other people throughout this thing, but first I was going to play the music from Francois Leroux in the background because it might sound nice and happy in the background. I have no idea what any of these poems are like.
So, let's see what this is like. Just because, we're just sitting here, so why not? And let's start at the beginning. And I'm actually going to lower it a little bit so it's not too loud or something. I have no idea what it's going to be like. I just thought I've got 10 minutes of music on, I just play that and see how it goes. So, and thank you, Vito, for the info about the thing for the art colony this Saturday. I'm one of those readers, and I'm going to show up because it is between 5 and 8 o'clock for the open micers, because there's an art presentation thing afterward. I can't remember. What was it? Oh, music afterward. I think poetry might have been talking about that. Is there a band or something? I mean, that's probably the event that he was talking about because I wasn't sure. So the poetry is going on from them, and I believe the others are in alphabetical order, and I'll get there when I get there, I swear. But anyway, these are poems from the After the Apocalypse Date book. I have no idea on what magazines they are, but there are a bunch of different themes. This one is from I.B. Rad. Yes, that's the name I've got from him, that's all I know. And the name is When Christ Became Our God of War. When America's Holy Trinity was ordained, Mammon, Christ, and Mars, pastor, politician, blessed that union, christening Christ as CEO and God of war. When Christ became the God of war, America claimed crusader, plate and sword, and our holy warrior monopolized a globe, pauperizing their nation and its mores. I know, they get a lot of different themed ones, but thank you very much, Ivy Rad. So the next one, and totally different themes. These are both on the same page in March. This is by Ruth Juris, and it is called Sitting, Buddhist Meditation. Suspended in time and place on that small circumferential mat, the air is infinite, and beyond the mat, there is absolutely nothing. Do not forget to breathe in a measured way. The breath is a doorway to the progression of immediate time in segmental increments. Stop the mind, curb the monkey chatter. If the Buddha is near you, will not see him. You will understand the fleeting nature of the wind
and feel totally akin. I'm sorry, I had to be still because it just seems so fitting to be like all mellow with this music and her talking afterwards. Sorry. This next piece, because I'm going to try to read as many as I can from this. Thank you. Yeah, I know. But you know, you're not going to go, breaking into applause about, meditating and realizing everything and nothingness all at once. So this is a longer piece, and it is by David Thompson, and it is called "Sow the Water." He's sitting naked on the edge, watching the bathtub fill up, hoping he's got it as hot as he can handle. He shuts off the faucet, eases in 1 foot at a time, stands perfectly still while all he feels is his own breathing. It's tough, the surgeon told him with a little shake of his head. The tumors are too big, too close to your pulmonary artery. It's very tough. He balances with the dirty soap dish and begins to inch himself into the water, feeling the heat on the bottom of his thighs and begin to soak his sagging balls. Finally, he's sitting, leaning back against the tub, his eyes closed shut. They used to call this stuff the Red Devil, the nurse said as she hooked up the IV drip. You're lucky. In old days, nobody made the car ride all the way home without throwing up. He slides his knees up, moves down so the water covers his chest and shoulders, laps up against his chin. He stares upward, can't help but wonder how close this warm numbness is to death, and how bad, after all, it can really be. David Johnson. I know, you don't want to do anything wrong, but that was a good piece. This is by Eric Shelman, and it is on March 31st. It's called Religion and Government. I have no idea what I'm reading. What is it? Religion and Government by Eric Shelman. You are always talking the talk. However, your actions prove to me that you are never willing to walk. How many people did you confront and convert with force? Who are you to force your beliefs on others that don't believe as you do? You are but mere mortals, not gods playing with their creations. You think that you are this and that, but in all reality you are nothing but a power-hungry man wanting to control everything with this or that belief. In doing so, brainwashing humanity to believe a certain way to prove that you can overpower them. Statements about how, definitely, statements about how we run things in this, definitely. I have no idea, well, I'm getting near my end here. I think I've got two left, and which should I do? I have no idea because I haven't read them. I'll do them in order. This is Wild Places from Eileen Tromel, Tromel. This is Wild Places. Thank you, Eileen. And this is the first week in April in the After the Apocalypse Date book. It's also in the 2013 Poetry Collection book from Sparse Publications. Chosen pieces from CC&D and Down the Dirt magazine go into an annual collection book, and if it's short, it might fit in a book like this. And you might have some freak like me reading it later. Thank you, Eileen. This is Wild Places. Whack back to nearly nothing by polite society. Cultivated and sculpted lawns. No room for any unruliness. No tendrils escaping their confinement. Yet deep within the secret places exists a hidden haven where nature rules. Society's rules have failed to invade this place of freedom, to be wild and boundless, where drums beat in time with the spirit. Inhibitions lay scattered among the fallen leaves, forgotten as the dances take hold of the soul. Orders conquered by chaos, the heart is open to all possibilities, to those secret raucous, untamed places.
A poem over. That's awesome, Eileen. That was a fun one. I have no idea what the last one. Mel Waldman. Oh, mister, he's a regular guy in both magazines, A veces, and I have no idea if this will be as fun a piece one, because we get a lot of interesting pieces from Mel. This is called Survivor from Mel Waldman. His buddies died, but he had survived and returned with all of his body parts. Doesn't talk much now, but his shriveled, emaciated body speaks for him. When he tries to be normal, he fails, especially when he takes his wife and kids to the beach. The endless sand and wind sweep him back to the war. His traumatized flesh shake. His hands tremble. Tonight, he wanders into the streets, carrying a gun, searching for the enemy, living in the past. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Mel. And I don't know if I should actually go ahead. You know, screw it, I'm not going to go ahead, because you guys can get more of this stuff from all these wonderful people later. If anybody's interested in submitting magazine stuff to the stuff I run, well, you can do it to any of the Scars addresses and say, hey, I want to submit stuff to you. Well, you know, maybe you can have me read it some more and it'll appear on YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And that would be awesome, and you can be in a Perfect Bound magazine like I showed off and excited you with before. And I can't think of anything else, but I know that Andrea Schuba's already featuring in 2 weeks, and she better show up, because I love mini feature night because I just love talking too much. But I would love to see everybody here and a ton more, because you're all so incredibly worth it. And thank each and every one of you. Thank you all, and I hope to see you in just 2 weeks. Thank you.